How are you doing today, Kiko?
Great, and you?
I'm doing great, thanks. So you just got done performing some dates in Brazil in support of your latest solo album, Sounds of Innocence. How'd that go?
Yes, yes. It was great. It was 10 gigs. It was 10 gigs. I did some important TV shows as well. Great. Always good to go back to Brazil and play to the Brazilian fans and visit some. I've been to like very distant cities, like different. Not only to the main, the big cities, but to small cities, and it's great. A lot of traveling actually, but it was cool.
So let's talk about your latest solo album, Sounds of Innocence. On that album, you worked with drummer Virgil Donati, who's of course a real seasoned player, whose past credits include Steve Vai and Planet X. I know Mike Tirana from Rage usually plays drums on your solo material. Was there like a scheduling conflict? How'd you end up hooking up with Virgil?
Yeah, that's correct. I have 2 albums with Mike Tirana. I had another album with the Brazilian drummer, another album that I did more Brazilian style, so all the musicians were from Brazil. And then I met Virgil many years ago, and I always wanted to do something with him. I really like his style, his drumming, his technique. He has a unique way of playing drums. So, and now it came the opportunity. I asked him if he wanted to do it, so he could do it. They had the time for doing it, and it's perfect. And I think it really helped a lot of songs, because I kind of compose all the songs. I do my demo with the drum machine. I program all the drums. I record all the all the instruments and stuff, and then I send to him. And then it's amazing the way he kind of played what I suggested, but he adds his style and his technique, his way of approaching the drums, and then the songs got much better after that. It was good. It was great.
So Doug Wimbish, who you'd previously worked with on one of Tarja Turinen's solo album and tour for that, he also guested on Sounds of Innocence. Tell me about working with your pal Doug again.
Yeah, I love him. I love the way he plays as well. And there's one song. There's like a specific song in that album that it's very kind of laid back feeling, and with Afro beat, kind of Brazilian Afro stuff. And then I was doing the demo, and it's like this. It's really Doug Wimbish style. When I did the bass line, and then I thought, well, that's really perfect for Doug. I just came with his face playing, like his image of him playing that song. It's like, and then I called him, and then I showed the song, and then he really liked the song, and then he recorded. So he recorded one song only. So the other songs was recorded by a friend of mine, the Angra bass player Felipe Andreoli.
Yeah.
And so he's a great bass player. He learns everything so fast, and he has a unique style as well, super powerful and perfect. And that, yeah. So the other songs he recorded.
So speaking of your work with Tarja, she had joined Angra on stage at the Rock in Rio Festival as recently as 2011. Are you still in touch with her? Any plans to work with her together at some point?
Yeah, I think she had a baby now. Yeah, but I did some acoustic stuff for her album, and then I did 2 tours for her. And we have kind of this friendship, but here and there we can work together. I don't know when if it's going to happen again. Probably someday something can happen, but no plans for the future, for the near future.
Of course. So it's been about 3 years since the release of Angra's last studio album, Aqua. Have you guys been working on any new material for a new Angra album?
Not really. We did it. We need to compose this year. We probably gotta get together to compose something.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a show now because we changed the singer, and then we have like a friend of ours, Fabio Leone, from a band called Ravioli.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah. So we had booked this 70,000 tons of metal cruise.
Yeah.
That happened in January. So we had booked this show, and then we invited him to sing that show, and it was amazing. It was he's a great performer, a great voice. And then we did that show, and everybody got very, very optimistic, enthusiastic about doing more shows, and we got a lot of offers to do more shows with him. So we're gonna do a big festival in Brazil now in April.
Yeah.
Then we're probably gonna start setting up a tour with him for this year. But of course, we have to, besides the shows, we have to get everybody together and compose new material, or at least I've been doing some new material already. But we have to get together to show to each other, the individual ideas that we're collecting through these years to make a new album.
So, there was a lot of speculation and whatnot. It was originally announced, you guys were going to reveal your new singer as 70,000 Tons of Metal, and then, of course, it turned out to be Fabio, and then I heard some talk after that about that only being a one-off. So is what you're saying is he's like the new full-on lead singer of Angra?
No. That's not the idea, because the idea would be to choose a Brazilian guy.
Uh-huh.
We were like auditioning and receiving some material from Brazilian guys. But as we had this cruise to do, we decided not taking any Brazilian guy, because if we had done that, then would be already the guy, and it would be too early for us to decide, because one show to decide, the right singer. So then we decided to ask Fabio, which is like a well-known guy. He has his work, he has his band, and then to join us as a guest.
Yeah.
So with that, we could have more time to receive more material, because to receive more material, to listen to more singers to do the right decision. Of course, Fabio is a great singer. It would be great to have him on the band, of course. But he has his band, and he lives in Italy, so it makes things a bit more complicated, in the logistics. So for now, we're gonna do few shows with him, and then in the meanwhile, we're gonna still listening to some great singers that we have in Brazil to take the decision.
Okay. So, what was Edu's reasons for leaving Angra? Are you guys still on good terms, or how'd that go?
So yeah, it's all fine. It's more like he had like his other band, and he wanted to sing differently. I think it was pushing too much his voice, the high pitch, the songs, and then it was like he has like some issues with his voice as well, because of this the high notes, the high pitch of the early songs from Angra.
Yeah.
And then so after years of that, he gets tired, and everybody gets tired of complaining and stuff like this, and then we had a talk, and then he left.
Uh-huh. So it was announced recently that your former vocalist, Andre Matos, would be performing the entire Angels Cry album to celebrate the 20th anniversary of its release. What are your thoughts on that, and does Angra currently have any similar plans to commemorate the landmark release in the band's career?
Yeah, that was like we wanted to do this, and then we invited him to do this idea of celebrating the album and play the whole album, but he didn't want to do it with us, so then he decided to do by himself. What can I say? That's what happened. So he didn't want it to do. I think we thought that would be much cooler to have the whole band doing that.
Oh yeah, that would be much cooler.
Yeah, so that's what we thought, but he didn't want, and then we have to respect his decision that he doesn't want to do that, and he really wants to focus on his career and his stuff. And then, but he, in the end, like, it was a surprise for everyone of us that he took the idea and then he's doing it in his solo show.
So I know you make it out to the NAMM show in Anaheim almost every year, and you have a lot of instructional content out there. And back in 2010, you of course did the Rock House Method DVD for Creative Fusion. Are you still busy making instructional DVDs for guitar players? Anything on that front?
No, I don't have plans for that. For now, I don't know. Maybe it can come something new. I don't know. But yeah, I did 2010, and I'm always at NAMM show doing this demonstration or just some signings and stuff like this. Yeah, I really like to teach, and I do a lot of guitar clinics as well. And then, so I really like to do that. And then I'm always open to any invitation. They're probably going to do something this year. I have some companies, they always, nowadays a lot of companies are doing like only online, selling the packages online, the programs online.
Yeah.
So I have some companies that approach me to do that. So yeah, probably going to do something this year, but not the next month, to be honest, but maybe the second half I'm going to do something. I really like to teach and to play and explain, to break down the phrases and stuff and explain how the idea comes and stuff. I think it's really cool to show how you do it.
So speaking of which, you started studying music and playing guitar at the age of 11, and by the time you turned 19, you co-founded what would become one of the major players in power metal with the band Angra. Who would you name as being the guitarist that influenced you early on in your career, Kiko?
I think, I remember one of the main ones was Jim Page, Led Zeppelin in general. I was really into Led Zeppelin, and Iron Maiden as well, like Deep Purple. But I remember the music of Led Zeppelin was really intense for me.
Uh-huh.
Maybe because I was always really into the acoustic as well. And then Led Zeppelin always had like the different tunings and acoustic stuff, and I don't know, I was really connected to the composition, to the songs. And then of course in the late 80s I was a teenager, and then I was really into the guitar players in general. So I was really into all the Satriani, Vai, and then the Jeff Beck and all the other players. As I was listening to the metal bands like Metallica or Black Sabbath or, I don't know, Ozzy. And then I was always into the Brazilian music as well, so acoustic guitar and the Brazilian composers and the Brazilian music, the traditional music. And that's what I try to do nowadays. So I combine all this metal thing, the heavy stuff, with the heavy drumming from the Brazilian music, the grooves, the harmonies, the sophisticated harmonies from the Brazilian music that it comes from the bossa nova, kind of jazzy thing.
Yeah.
Fusion. So I try to combine this fusion Brazilian thing with the heavy guitars and the shred from the late 80s that I love as well. So I try to combine all that and having always the composition, trying to be always very melodic, and the structure of the songs to carry you, through the song without being very boring. My songs doesn't have like really long solos and all this, like showing off the techniques in the guitar. If you listen to this, like Sounds of Innocence, you can hear that there's a lot of structured composition, with the, A, B, C section, chorus, and trying to be very melodic, very catchy in some songs. So I'm always afraid to be like very boring, this very boring instrumental album. So I'm always afraid. So I try to take as a song, as the same as we do with Angra, like a song with lyrics, to be catchy and to be to have pleasure to listen.
So, what advice would you give to the kids out there that are learning guitar for the first time? What kind of stuff would you like to share with them?
Well, many things, but to keep the passion for music, and then try to, as a player, you have to find your references, your heroes, your guitar gods, or whatever your musicians that you like. To keep this passion always alive, to have these references, to have this motivation to practice every day, to get connection with music in a daily basis. And then you can, as you're doing this every day, you can organize yourself, program what you're going to practice, or you're going to study, and then you make this as a habit. And then you're going to play your guitar and your music every day in a very organized way, and in a few years you're going to be like an amazing player. There's no way not to be if you do it like that, and have this connection with music on a daily basis. And always being very open-minded. I think for me that's one of the main points, to be open-minded, to listen to all kinds of music, classical music, flamenco, whatever, Greek, Brazilian, blues, or everything. And then we just discover all the beauty of music in general. And then you just bring all these elements with music that you like to play. So that's what I did, trying to bring all the different elements from music, from all different kinds of styles and countries and other instruments, and try to bring this to the guitar and build my own music as a melting pot of all this influence.
So, what's next for you in 2013? Any other projects for the remainder of the year that we need to know about?
I'm doing a DVD. I'm going to record a DVD to keep promoting the Sounds of Innocence. I'm going to do a DVD in São Paulo in a very nice theater in a big. We have in São Paulo. It's like the biggest Brazilian city. We have like a big park, just like a Central Park, kind of. Is our Central Park there, and then inside this park we have like a very nice theater there. So I'm gonna do my DVD there, and that's like my main goal for this the next month. I'm gonna prepare that, and then I have this Angra big festival this month yet. And the second half of the year we're probably gonna do more a tour of Angra and start composing. Next album for Angra or another album for me as well. Yeah, that's it.
Sounds good. Well, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to talk metal today, Kiko. Before we wrap this up,
thank you very much.
Do you have any last words for your fans listening at home?
Yeah, just check Sounds of Innocence out on the website, KikoLoureiro.net, and stay in touch with via Facebook, Twitter, or whatever you guys can find. Just keep track of what I'm doing. I have a lot of actually who listen to the Sounds of Innocence, you can go to my YouTube official page, and you can find a lot of videos from me recording the album, which I think is really cool at least for the guitar players to see how it's the real deal, like the recording stuff, how you do it. So there's a lot of videos there to check. After you listen to the songs, I think it's good to see how